friendsies, welcome to today's video. Today I want to show you how I reconditioned my rattan furniture. It's going to be a somewhat short video but hopefully informative so that you guys can, I don't know, have an idea of why I chose this method versus a different one. Hopefully you like it. Let's get to it.
Don't feel anxious, don't feel shame. If there's a question, it can't wait another day. Don't feel like it's all in vain. I try to remember, it ain't a race. Breathe out, it doesn't matter anyway. Breathe in.
Before we go into what we're going to do and what products we're going to use, let's just talk about some basic information. So what's the difference between wicker and rattan and cane even? Rattan is actually the plant, and there is over 600 different species that can be used for this process. It is not bamboo, contrary to what a lot of people think. Bamboo is hollow and rattan is a solid piece of timber. So they get harvested and it comes from tropical areas like Indonesia. And like I said, it could be up to 600 different species that can be used for this. So the difference between wicker, rattan, and cane. Rattan is the plant. Wicker is actually the weaving process, not a plant. And cane actually comes from the rattan plant, but it's a very specific part of it. It's essentially the outer shell because it tends to be harder and more resistant, so they can cut it thinner, and that's what's used for cane backing and chairs. Okay, so because rattan is a natural fiber, it can definitely dry out. And with being outside, you know, the moisture, the humidity, the dry weather, they expand and contract, and that's what ends up damaging the finishing that most products have. As you guys can see, that crustiness is because whenever the furniture swelled up and expanded, it had no flexibility, so it had to break. And that is the main reason why I chose to not go with a hard finish in that regard. I'm not gonna go with a polyurethane or polyacrylic finish, although you most certainly can, and it could probably give you some protection for, I don't know, a few months, a few years, I don't know, depending on where you're using it. But I don't want to do that because I don't like that crustiness, and I think that it will be easier for me to maintain it if I go with an oil instead. So if you look online, the most common suggestion would be to use boiled linseed oil. Boiled linseed oil is not actually boiled. It's actually called boiled after they add a chemical, what's the word for it? Solvent. So a solvent gets added because it's a natural oil. Natural oils take a long time to cure and harden and not be oily or sticky, which normally is about 30 days. But by adding that solvent, they speed up the process so that linseed oil can dry or cure much faster, and it will cure to a hard finish. So that is why that's the most recommended product. I am going to use Wise Owl's Furniture Tonic for this, and it's actually made with hemp seed oil and waxes, not boiled linseed oil, natural oil, so it definitely takes a little while to cure. But from using it in this project, I was able to use the chairs and sit on them within a few days of applying it. But I'm gonna read from their website because that was something important that I needed to research on whether or not I should go with boiled linseed oil or hemp seed oil. And I will leave that link below if you guys are interested in it so that I can give you accurate information. Okay, when unrefined, the hemp seed oil retains a lot of its superpowers, which are antimicrobial and antifungal properties, wood and leather refresher, and conditioning agent. It can also be used to seal paint and more uses to polish. We've used it on our truck, on our leather car seats, actually, to polish those, and that worked out great. I've seen people use it on stainless steel boots couches, anything like that. It can be used for conditioning. So the Wise Owl hemp oil, which the furniture tonic that I'm using is a mix of hemp oil and wax. So it's a little bit more liquid and easy to manage than a wax would be in that regard. Like I can apply it with a brush, which is what I needed for this process. And so it's a mixture between the two. So whenever I'm talking about hemp oil, it's because that's one of the main ingredients on the tonic. Hemp oil is considered a drying oil because of its ability to polymerize into a solid form. What does it mean exactly? It means that it will harden and become one with the surface, cure, and reach its strongest finish and bond once it has fully dried, lending its strengthening property to the finish of paint or wood. This can take between 2 weeks and 30 days depending on environmental temperature and humidity. You might still use your piece finished with hemp oil in the meantime, but just make sure you take some precautions. Hemp oil is suitable for outdoor use and may be applied in multiple coats to produce a more water-resistant finish. So this product will polymerize and it doesn't have the solvent, so it won't do it as quickly as the Boils linseed oil will. But like I said, I was able to use my pieces within a few days. I even was wearing white pants and it was perfectly fine because the fibers were definitely thirsty and absolutely needed all of that hydration. I also figure I'm not gonna get rid of all of it. I'm just gonna try and get rid of the ugliest parts so that it doesn't look as bad. And I figure it will dry out eventually, and on the next round maybe I can easily shake it off if that's what happens. So I'm not gonna worry too much about that. I just need to get some of the ugly stuff. So I think that's good enough. The most important part for me was the bottom, and I think I got that pretty good. You don't have to use an air compressor obviously for this. You can just brush it off.
It's about happiness in the air. Take it slow, watch the road. Stop driving myself insane. The end of the day. You got me don't feel rage. If there's an answer, it can't wait till another day. Don't regret making mistakes. There's no need, it's just a game. Breathe out, it doesn't matter anyway. Breathe in, it's about happiness in the air. Take it slow, watch the road. Stop driving myself insane. The end of the day. You got me in to go.
Yesterday I applied one coat and I let it sit overnight, but I'm gonna do a second coat just to make sure that it's really protected, because I knew it was really dehydrated. So here we go. One more coat. And I let Biggie come outside, but he's a wild kitty, so I gotta keep an eye on him. I don't trust him. Let me go get him. Okay, so I bought this little feet because they are made for planters. They're terracotta little feet. And so sometimes when it rains, the water will pool a little bit and then this sits in the water. And to avoid that, I came up with this little hack.
It's about happiness in the air. Take it slow, watch the road. Stop driving myself insane. The end of the day.
mainly propagations that I have going on. And then I'm gonna pot them eventually. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe and follow me on the social media. If you guys are interested, I'm definitely more active there because it requires less time to edit videos. But I will see you next time with something else. All of the products will be linked below, and I will see you next time. Okay, love you, goodbye.
Take it slow, watch the road, stop driving myself insane.